Before you write your angry comments, allow me to clarify that I don't think that Galaxy 2 is very good compared to... Let me finish! Thank you. I like Mario Galaxy 2 quite a bit, but I don't think it's very good compared to the first game. Why did that make you more angry?
Citations, gaming enthusiasts, George Minerd here. I recently finished a Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy 2 that lasted for 3 years on and off, and through that playthrough, as I trudged through its exceptionally repetitive levels, I gradually came to the realization that this game just isn't that good. I keep hearing people say that it's the best game of the two, and I just sort of sit there with a perplexed face, not understanding how they came to that conclusion. Let's start from the beginning. Before Galaxy 2 came out, back when I was an intensely Mario-obsessed kid before I became an adult with a more healthy level of Mario obsession, I used to check Super Mario Wiki literally every day for literally hours every evening. As such, I vividly remember the first time I heard about SMG2's existence. I was sat in the study of my sister's piano teacher's house using their computer to look at Super Mario Wiki as I waited for her lesson to finish. There it was, in the news section of the front page, the announcement of the game and the beta logo for it. And let me tell you, I have never been more hyped for any upcoming game than I was with Galaxy 2. The Wii was my first home console, and Galaxy 1 my first 3D Mario, and that game blew my mind with how incredible it was in every aspect. I'd already replayed the first game like 3 or 4 times before Galaxy 2 was even announced. I adored it so much. In the months leading up to SMG2's release, I bought every single issue of both Endgamer and Official Nintendo Magazine, so I could see any little new bit of information or screenshot of the game I could get my hands on. And I even daydreamed about what it would be like to play it. When I actually got to play the game, however...
This game is mid!
You're mid!
Who said that?
It feels so weird to say this, but I actually had way more fun looking forward to SMG2's release than I had from actually playing it. It was a good game, but it absolutely did not live up to the hype. Galaxy 2 is the result of Nintendo EAD having a decent number of extra Mario Galaxy ideas, and then stretching said ideas so thin the resulting game turned out repetitive as heck and filled to the brim with filler. I have several main complaints, so let's go over them one at a time. Straight out of the gate, the first thing I notice about Galaxy 2 is the shift in vibe after the first game. Where the first game had beautiful starry skies and oftentimes enormous, actually planet-sized planets taking up a good amount of the skybox adorning most of its galaxies, offering a majestic, somewhat melancholic vibe I really enjoyed, Galaxy 2 prefers to put more generic bright blue cloudy skies around its planets. Where Galaxy 1 features a lot of serene, occasionally moody music to demonstrate the quiet majesty of the stars, Galaxy 2 gives much more priority to the kind of bubbly, fun and high energy music you'd expect from a Mario game. It's just so much more generic. Of course, the visual and musical vibes of any game are generally very subjective. I just massively prefer the ones present in SMG 1 over the ones in 2 because to me, they're much more unique and enjoyable. Then there's the story. The OG Galaxy had the exciting and jovial Star Festival, followed by an all-too-real feeling cinematic attack from Bowser, forcing many Toads into crystal prisons, which at the time, you didn't even know is fatal or not. The player runs to the castle in the midst of this chaos to make sure the princess is okay, only for the whole building to get scooped up and lifted into space. Feeling faint from the low oxygen, Mario comes to, only to be taunted by Kamek and blasted away. After that excitement, Mario awakes on a calming little planetoid by the strange little star child we were briefly shown earlier. And then the camera pans out in a wonderful little moment of peace to show the whole spherical little world we've awoken on. We meet Rosalina, the mysterious guardian of the cosmos. We get to explore and repair her iconic spaceship over the course of the game. We meet the Toad Brigade. We see her history in a series of beautiful storybook pages. After we've finished crying, we travel to the center of the universe in an awesome cutscene and defeat Bowser in an epic fight. A supermassive black hole is created. We cry some more, and the cycle of the universe's reformation begins anew. In the second game, Bowser gets big. Wow, I've never seen that before. He picks up the princess in his big meaty claws and farts off into space. Better chase after him. We wouldn't want Bowser to get away with his dastardly plot of Checks notes. Eating a giant cake. Time for Patrick Star to make some puns. Spaceship! Ha ha! Lubba, you are a comedic genius. On our way to the final fight, we fight Boozer a few times, in which he's somehow much less intimidating than he was when he wasn't hundreds of times the player's size. A grand total of no plot happens between the game's opening and ending. A Mario game absolutely doesn't need a good story to be enjoyable or even to be a banger, but it certainly helps, and this is an area in which Galaxy 1 clearly has more going for it than 2 does. Though if you prefer your Mario games with less fluff, that's fair, each to their own. But I see G1's story as a great boon that puts it above a lot of the other main Mario games. A good bit of story can really elevate the gaming experience and make you so much more invested in it, and Galaxy 2 has the audacity to have its opening and closing cutscenes look like a storybook? This ain't it, Chief. The galaxies in the first game come in 2 kinds. Firstly, there are large galaxies. These have 3 full, distinct, unique levels, often containing a small story as they progress. They also all contain at least 1 hidden star and 2 comets each, for a total of at least 6 stars, but on occasions, 7. These are galaxies that explore their theme in depth. Each one feels like a well thought out and satisfying real location, often with real people living there on a large, satisfying to explore main planet. They're memorable because you visit them a lot of times and get to explore every nook and cranny. Secondly, Galaxy 1 has small galaxies, almost all of which have only 1 star, save for the couple that have 2. These galaxies can either be very distinct and memorable on account of their shortness, leaving you wanting more, or if they have a gimmick you don't care for, at least they're short and over quickly. A lot of my favourite galaxies fall into this category, many being built around a specific gimmick I enjoy or having excellent vibes not found elsewhere. I actually replayed these ones quite a lot as a kid, even after beating them, because they were so fun and unique. There is certainly some repetition to be found in the big galaxies, with many levels featuring the same big starting planet, and the comets taking an old level and putting a new spin on it to varying degrees of fun. But remember, these galaxies still all have 3 fully original levels. And then you look over to Galaxy 2, which sometimes has galaxies with 6 stars that are literally just 1 level repeated 6 times. Let's look at the Supermassive Galaxy as a case study. A great level that feels based on my favourite world from Super Mario Bros. 3. Well, that was fun. What's the next level for this excellent concept? There's so much they could do with giant enemies and terrain! Oh, there's a secret star that has you just do the majority of the level again and walk around this tiny planet.
Okay, so I need to have a bit of a real rant about this stupid little flower planet. You see, it's just so stupid. It's stupid. So we're in the supermassive galaxy, okay? The gimmick is everything is really big. It's a really fun idea for a galaxy. What a fun gimmick. And then you've got 1 level. You've got 1 level. Just the normal level, going through it normally. Fine, it's a decent level, it's okay, nothing wrong with the normal level. Then you go through it again, but not quite all of it, to get to this pointless little zero challenge tiny flower planet, and then you just go through the normal level, but fast this time! Just the same level again. 3 times, the same level, 3 times over. But one of them you stop and walk on the tiny planet for no reason. What a boring star.
Well, maybe the comet will be more interesting. Perhaps it'll be a purple coin one with a big new explorable planet of giant proportions. Oh, it's a speedrun comet of the first level. The level we've already played 1.8 times. And then there's 3 green stars within that same first level, but we'll get to them later in the video, don't you worry. Galaxy 2 has the lines between large galaxies and small galaxies much more blurred. The big galaxies now have either just 2 unique levels if you're lucky, or just 1. The 1 or 2 other levels that make up their remaining golden power stars being either a secret star, a comet, or both in a few unfortunate cases. And the small galaxies now only have 1 fewer regular stars than the big ones. This makes the experience so boring and repetitive. Almost every galaxy feels like they didn't have enough ideas to flesh it out enough, so they stretched the star count in each galaxy with lazy comets and secret stars. There's multiple instances of several galaxies having the same theme that could have been merged into single levels to make the game less repetitive, but were separated seemingly to just pad the game. More than half of the galaxies in World S are recycled assets from Galaxy 1 and Sunshine. Okay, so allow me to introduce you to this chart that I made by looking at Super Mario Wiki, going through all the different levels in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and having a look at which ones were fully original levels, semi-original, or fully recycled. So, original levels, that means you've not seen any of this before. Like, maybe it's a level in Galaxy 1 where, like, the starting planet is the same, but, like, it's mostly completely original. Semi-original levels, that's like secret stars, where, like, it maybe has one new planet that you haven't seen before. It's a very situational call. Sometimes comets will have, like, a bit of uniqueness in them as well, and I'll put them in there, but, like, comets most of the time, like speedy comets or purple coin comets, a lot of the time just take place in places you've already been, and those are just recycled. Like, you're going to race Cosmic Mario, you're going to collect purple coins, you're going to do the same level but faster, you're going to do the same level but with 1 health. It's recycled content, kind of obviously. And obviously with Luigi, the numbers are obviously kind of mostly doubled. Just kind of hand wave that away because it's kind of similar with Luigi and with the green stars. I'll get to talking more about those in depth in the video later. It doesn't really matter that much. That's kind of you choose whether Luigi or the green stars is better. So, see, Super Mario Galaxy 1 has 66 original levels, 20 semi-original levels, and 33 recycled levels. I'd say that's a decent score. Let's have a look at how Galaxy 2 did. Oof, that is worse. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, though, to be honest. I thought that this was going to be more of a stark contrast, and I was kind of wrong, but there you go. 58 original, 19 semi-original, 45 recycled. That is quite a lot. It is quite a lot. It's not the best numbers, I will say. I feel like they could have trimmed a lot of fat from this game, combined some of the galaxies, and easily cut the world count by 2 or 3. Then there's the level designs themselves. There are, of course, plenty of excellent levels to be found, and the addition of Yoshi and some new power-ups helps the game feel fresh and fun, I'll grant it that. Rest in peace, Red Star, you deserved better than either game gave you. The game is made in a way that makes me think the devs wanted to make a 2D platformer because the amount of 2D sections in this game is off the charts. It's obsessed with 2D, but that's not the kind of gameplay I came here for. Why do you hate the Z-axis so much in this 3D platformer? And when there is 3D platforming in environments, there's a clear change in the design philosophy in most of these levels. I will admit that Galaxy 1 kinda started the 3D Mario series down this more linear path it clearly took climaxing in 3D World, but I'd say G1 is the happy middle ground between proper 3D Mario with big explorable worlds and the super linear blocky levels that wish they were Super Mario Bros. Where the first game had an abundance of planets that actually looked like planets, being either roughly spherical or like a real looking location like a mountain or a spaceship, far too much of Galaxy 2 is just, here's some flat platforms floating in the void, this is clearly a video game level, let's start jumping through it. While writing this, I'm beginning to realize many of my grievances with this game stem from how much I enjoyed the immersive space vibes of the first game. The way that game was built made me feel things separate from the gameplay experience. Its music, its style, its world design, its soul. Things that aren't absent from G2, but are woefully lacking in my eyes. But Galaxy 2 didn't trim the fat when simplifying after the first game. It trimmed its own skin and muscles. Or a less horrific analogy. When comparing the post-game of the Galaxy games, it definitely comes down more to point of view and opinion than it does clear quality. First, let's mention the smaller things. The purple comets in the first game and World S in the second are comparable, both being unlocked after the final Bowser fight. Galaxy 2 probably wins here for me, though I do really like quite a few of the purple comet missions. There are some real stinkers that are easily the worst parts of G1, whereas my only complaint with World S is that a lot of its galaxies reuse assets, as I mentioned earlier. There's still some good original galaxies, and it's not like I dislike those galaxies for being repetitive. It's a bit naff, but they're still mostly a fun time. I suppose when I played that bit when I was a kid, I was happy to see those references to the first game and Sunshine. When playing Galaxy 2 for my Let's Play, I had an abysmal time collecting the green stars.
But we learned this from Crash Bandicoot that levels where you move towards the camera like this aren't fun and they're annoying. I want to strangle whoever's responsible for this monstrosity. There it freaking is. These developers are mean. That's a tiny target. And my hands are shaking. Because they're tired of playing this damn game. Get it. Oh, I hope I don't miss. Please don't miss. Oh. Gently move to the left. Not so gently that you miss it though. Guess I'll die again.
I did it in 2 sittings, 3 hours apiece. Many of them were agonizing to find and collect, and the constant barrage of loading screens probably just about doubled the time it took. They honestly should have just had the green stars available from the start and not had them kick you out of the level, like moons in Odyssey. It could have been a fun part of the game if they were handled better. There's an extremely difficult final galaxy you unlock after this ordeal, which is honestly a cool thing to put at the end of the game for the most hardcore players to enjoy/swear at. I died 45 times on the Grandmaster Galaxy, by the way. Is that bragworthy? I'm not sure. Galaxy 1 has an arguably more tedious repetitive post-game when it asks you to complete it again, but with Luigi. When I finished my Galaxy 1 Let's Play 3.5 years ago, I elected not to do that as it seemed like a really boring thing to do for a Let's Play. The funny thing is, I remember being okay with both of these post-games as a kid. Not only did I replay Mario Galaxy a bunch of times, but when the game said, "Hey, wanna do all that again while playing as this greasy man?" I responded with a hearty, "Oh boy, I get to play more Super Mario Galaxy? I'm in!" and just played the game again. And when Galaxy 2 said, "Hey, ready for the collectathon part of the video game?" I responded with, "Oh golly gee, I get to play this game again but with a completely different mindset of hunting for hidden treasures? What merriment!" And had a good time collecting the green stars. Somehow. I think a big part of why I was fine with the green stars as a kid and despised them as an adult is making a let's play out of them is much less fun than collecting them at your own pace with no pressure to be entertaining or quick. Playing the whole game again as Luigi is, at least on paper, much more of a time-consuming endeavor and much more repetitive than the technically kinda sorta new content of the green stars. Which is why I say this part of the comparison is very subjective. But the way I see it is, if you're a sane person, after completing Galaxy 1, you will naturally intend to replay it someday. And when that someday arrives, be it a few months or even years, the game offering the challenge of doing so as Luigi allows the experience to be a little different to before, letting you squeeze even more fun out of this remarkable game, and then enjoying the nice and chill secret last level back in the Mushroom Kingdom afterwards. Galaxy 2's post-game is technically newer content than what G1 is offering, but that content is overall unfun, frustrating, and massively tedious. Whereas the first game's post-game is technically more repetitive and time-consuming, but it is in essence just the extremely fun, exceptionally designed game you just played. But again, with better jumps, greased up feet, harder cosmic comet races, and a now unexplained duplicate Luigi that's slightly taller with slightly darker clothes. And I'd choose replaying Galaxy 1 over doing the green stars again in a heartbeat given the choice. Every time. I see Galaxy 2 as the devs' attempt at making the 3D Mario series more linear and simplified, but in doing so they robbed it of most of its charm and kind of ended up taking the worst parts of both halves of the series to make an annoying half-step abomination that's worse than both.
Oh, go on! You really think your heckling hurts me? Me? The guy who defends Ticket Star? Your booze cannot harm me. You only make me more powerful with your comments.
But what do you think? Where do you weigh in on this issue? Do you, like me, think Super Mario Galaxy 1 is the best 3D Mario and Galaxy 2 pales in comparison? Or do you prefer the sequel for some reason? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe for more Mario discussion videos and Let's Plays. Until next time, farewell everyone.